Remember when the Eagles lost Super Bowl 57 and a lot of players were blaming the fact the field conditions were terrible and that 70-plus sack team on the defensive line couldn't get to Patrick Mahomes once because they were slipping and sliding? Well, the NFL has given an answer as to why that happened, and it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm Thomas Mott. This is The Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show. I want to go ahead and first start with Jordan Mailata. He got married this past weekend. Congrats to the big fella. But in classic Jordan Mailata fashion, he sang to his wife at the wedding, and it's one of the most beautiful things you'll hear from an NFL player.
Isn't she pretty? Truly the angels well.
Isn't she lovely? Isn't his voice lovely? Not only is he one of the best left tackles in the entire National Football League, 6th overall rating for Pro Football Focus in 2022, he can sing probably better than anybody in the NFL. Oh, and not to mention, Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts, well, they were both at the wedding, which I believe was taking place, really an incredible venue. I mean, look at these guys. You got the bodyguard at the right tackle there, the superstar quarterback in a awesome mint green outfit right there. That suit is clean, and they're showing up for their big fella, further showing the camaraderie between this offensive system. Two of the best players, plus the superstar quarterback, all there for the Jordan Mailata wedding. Thumbs up for Jordan Mailata getting married, but also a thumbs up for Jalen Hurts and Lane Johnson looking clean at this wedding as well. Absolutely fantastic. All right, over here to one of the most ridiculous reports the NFL has ever released. Steph Kleiman has the whole write-up on the tweet. Quote, the NFL privately blamed the Eagles and Chiefs players for all the slipping in the Super Bowl per Mike Florio. Source told Florio the league communicated to the owners that the reason all the slipping happened is because the players were wearing the wrong cleats. The Eagle players actually changed their cleats during the game, so this feels like a poor excuse by the NFL. Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham recently said the Eagles were blessed by the Chiefs were blessed by the field conditions, end quote. So the NFL blames you, the Eagle players. It's your fault for not having the right cleats. You should have just changed your cleats. Wouldn't have been a problem. Now, we've seen this excuse before from Kansas City Chief fans saying, oh, well, we were on the same football field. We had the right cleats on, even though there's the whole conspiracy about the field manager being a former Chiefs guy, and it was obviously his last game ever. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Look it up. What's hilarious, though, is the response to this. Zach McPherson took to Twitter. He put LOL when he quote tweeted this one, which, again, is true because it's absolutely ridiculous. How about C.J. Gardner-Johnson? He said, man, pregame, I went through 3 different cleats. Even the studs weren't working. Please explain that, please. End quote. And I'm sure other Eagle players are already quoting on this or reporting on this or talking about the fact that they did change cleats. They at least changed cleats at halftime, and there's plenty of video footage of the defensive ends slipping and sliding. Now, I'm not going to sit back here and make some sort of dumb excuse and say, oh, the only reason the Eagles lost the Super Bowl is because the cleats were wrong or because, the field turf was so terrible. No Eagle fan is making that excuse. But you can't tell me that a historically great defensive line that had 70-plus sacks the entire year, literally the entire season, Hassan Reddick dominating 15-plus sacks, they don't get to Patrick Mahomes once. Not one time. Now, we're not saying the Chiefs are a bad offensive line. They're a good offensive line. They're not that good of an offensive line. And did you watch the game? Do you have eyes to go back and watch the film? Go watch the replay of it, as much as it hurts. You can watch them slip and slide all over the place. Now you're saying, Thomas, well, the Chiefs were on the same field. I know. And the Chiefs never got to Jalen Hurts. They barely got there. There were no sacks either way. But even if the Chiefs were on a normal field with the Eagles, you're telling me that Eagle offensive line would have given up a lot more sacks and changed the game? I don't think so. That Chiefs offensive line, though, would have given up more sacks, and it could have made a difference. Again, could have. Don't go in the comment section and say, you guys lost, get over it. Where's the defense? They should have gotten a stop, get over it. I'm not saying that's not true. It's 100% true. However, to at least emphasize the NFL's not taking full responsibility for this and not at least admitting what we all know, that the actual field conditions were terrible, and said quietly under the bus saying, hey guys, it was the Eagle players and the Chief players' fault. That's why it didn't work out. To me, it's one of the dumbest excuses ever, and vintage NFL. So it's classic Roger Goodell fashion here, doing something that, he normally does, which is to kind of tuck things under the rug, go around the problems, and not face them head on, and give you an actual example, like saying, hey, there's a real problem here. Finally, Philadelphia did play in Arizona in Week 6. I believe it was Week 6 of last year. They won, and nobody ever complained about the field conditions then. It was the field for the Super Bowl, which, of course, is a real grass field that they've been nurturing and caring for because the Cardinals did not make the playoffs. That was the issue. Can we just admit that and everybody move on? That would be very, very nice. Now, the ESPN team, after what was a very rough week at ESPN, they decided to go through their analytics and rank all 32 teams by rosters. This is not based on coaches. This is by rosters. And here is the overall list. Chiefs, 1. Eagles 2, Bills 3, Dolphins 4, Bengals 5, Cowboys 6, Chargers 7, Niners 8, Browns 9, and Jets 10. This is a fascinating list. It's fascinating for two reasons. One, it's one of the few lists that give Philadelphia the credit they are due for their roster, putting them at number 2. I would argue the roster is better than the Chiefs, but you can take the Patrick Mahomes factor for what it is. But the big kicker here is where they put the 49ers. Everybody else has the 49ers inside your top 3, inside your top 5. The roster is great. It's not that great. It's not top 5 great in the National Football League. I would take the Dolphins roster. I would take the Bengals roster. I would take the Chiefs, Bills, and Eagles rosters as well. I'm not saying the 49ers are bad, but this is a much more, I would say, accurate, at least inside the top 10, in terms of overall roster, and not just people loving on the fact that the 49ers have offensive talent and Nick Bosa, right? That's kind of what people always go ahead and freak out about. What's interesting, too, is Dallas there at number 6. You see Seattle there at number 12. You see the Giants at 18. That's pretty far back. And the Commanders at 24, which I think is very, very interesting as well. The fact that the Commanders are all the way back there at 24, and yet there are some people who seem to think that the Commanders are really, really good, which leads us over here to this article on Philly Eagles Central, showcasing the prediction by USA Today, where they say the Commanders will finish better than the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants and win the NFC East. Quote, while the Washington Commanders quietly improved their roster this offseason, the same cannot be said for their division rivals. Yes, whoever wrote that from the Washington Post didn't watch any football this offseason. They literally watched the season end. They saw Sam Howell look okay in like his one start, and then they did this. Literally, the entire offseason, they missed the draft. They have no idea what happened with the draft. They didn't see free agency at all. And then suddenly, they awoke from their USA Today writer's cocoon, and their boss said, hey, who's the best team in the NFC East? Write an article. And this is the garbage that they went ahead and come up with. So, it's June, well, now July, I should say, and so you're going to get garbage articles like this. No one's going to click on a USA Today article that says Eagles 1, Giants 2, Cowboys 3, Commanders 4, as it probably should be. So, they got to turn up some dramatic articles here. The problem is they use the wrong team. You can make the Giant argument, sure. You make the Cowboy argument. Go ahead. I mean, I'm not stopping you. But to make the Commander argument, despite the fact it's a decent roster, is a little bit far-fetched, especially when you kind of out yourself by saying the other teams in the division did not improve their rosters this offseason, which, if anyone ever watched what the Eagles did, they would realize that most people agree they unanimously had one of the best offseasons, top 5 offseasons in the entire National Football League this year. So, it's just classic. It's classic fun stuff. Give me your comments down below. Rate where you would put each team, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the NFC East. I'm going to read those and see where you guys are at on that. Okay, plenty of stuff happening next couple of days and weeks. A lot of fun shorts. Again, working on really hard to produce shorts for you guys. Haven't seen those? Be sure to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Plenty of stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.